welcome back. The channel is now called Hamtainment, as you probably deduced from the new awesome intro that I did. Now, the channel has gone through some rebranding. It is now called Hamtainment, obviously, for reasons. Of course, fuse my name with entertainment, simple, of course, keep it simple. The reason I changed the name is because I had it to HTD Entertainment before, but obviously because my brothers are barely on this channel and people keep asking me why you call it HTD Entertainment if the T and the D are never on the channel. So I changed it to Hamtainment for obvious reasons. So I'm not going to really change anything about how the channel is run or what I'm going to do. It's basically going to be the same thing for all your entertainment needs. I'm becoming video games, TV, movies, etc. You name it. Again, my brothers will still be on the channel. Nothing really going to change except for the name. Also, shout out to my girl Beanie Moon, also known as Danielle. You can check out her YouTube channel. I have it on the bottom screen and the links below. She made me that awesome logo, which I absolutely love. So credit to her. She will be returning on Twitch as well. So keep an eye out for her stuff. But we're here for a movie review for Thor Love and Thunder. Spoiler review. So if you haven't seen Thor Love and Thunder, leave now before you get spoiled.
And flick. Oh, you flicked too hard, damn it!
Alright, so it's gonna be my general review, but it's gonna be, spoilery, of course. So if you haven't seen the movie, of course leave now. But I just have to say that I have seen reviews of other people reviewing this movie, spoiler-free review, of course, before I saw the movie, and a lot of them said that this movie was very joke-heavy. Now, if you watch any of the Marvel movies, but especially Thor, it is littered with a lot of jokes in the previous Thor movies, but I thought they had a better balance between the jokes and the drama. This one is basically, though, a full-on comedy. Like, it is full-on comedy with just a little sprinkle of drama, which did bug me at first, but then once you put into your mindset that this is basically just a comedy set in the MCU, the film runs very nice in that terms. And it's not to say that even though there's a lot of comedy basically throughout this entire film, the comedy hits. Like, Taika Waititi is a funny guy. Like, he's great at writing comedy, so all the comedy was hilarious. So it was a funny movie because I was laughing, the people in the theater were laughing, everyone was having a jolly old time. The effects were amazing. Obviously it starts off with Gore the God Butcher. He's basically like a regular, I'm not gonna call him human, person. I don't know what species he is, and he's in this like vast desert with his daughter. Everything's gone. His daughter dies. He finds this oasis with like this very prick god sitting there, and he's basically begging him to like give him an eternal reward for all his faith and relying on the god. And the god basically tells him that you're useless, your whole species is useless, you guys only exist to basically worship us, and that's it. And he doesn't take very kindly to that, so he ends up picking up the sword that was there, that I forgot the name of the sword, but it helps him have the abilities to murder gods. So he murders that god, and that's where it kind of starts. And then it cuts back, of course, to Thor. Thor is going through his existential crisis. He got back into shape after we saw him in Endgame when he was fat and lazy. Now he's big old sexy God of Thunder Thor, and that whole sequence with him fighting with the Guardians of the Galaxy, I thought was absolutely hilarious and fun. I wish we could kind of saw more of that in depth, but I get why. This is a Thor movie, not a Guardians of the Galaxy movie, which we'll see them later down the line. And just him fighting through those like bird creatures and everything and tearing down the temples and stuff like that, I thought was an absolute treat. Like, again, Thor is a badass and he's hilarious. Like, I thought all the jokes hit. The one thing that did bug me, like when basically Peter Quill was delivering the line about stick with the people that you love. I don't know, the direction, how they directed him to say those lines felt kind of off. I felt they should have had more weight to it. It felt too jokey, but again, that's what this film is. This film is a comedy set in the MCU, so that was my only really big gripe. And that, and the goats that Thor receives as a gift, oh my god, they were so annoying at first, and I'm like, oh my god, they're going to be a through line to this whole movie. Thank god they weren't as bad as I thought they were going to be, because I was like, okay, they're going to be in this whole movie. I don't know how I'm going to feel about this, but they actually grew on me. They actually became quite hilarious throughout the film. thank God, pun intended. But yeah, Thor's going through this whole thing, and then of course we cut to Jane. Apparently, she's fighting cancer. Apparently, in the comic book, I believe she has cancer as well in the comic books, and she uses Thor's hammer to basically stave off the cancer for a time. So I thought that whole through line with Jane was really the heart of the film. I thought she was absolutely fantastic. You know, how she got the hammer, and they went through the whole flashbacks of when they were dating and why the hammer made her worthy, and she's able to become Lady Thor. I thought all that was pretty cool. And then, of course, you know, he goes into New Asgard because Gore the God Butcher is coming there, basically to lure him to get his axe that we learn later on in the movie that he needs to open the gate to eternity. And I thought that whole sequence was awesome. King Valkyrie, also, you know, another strong female character. I thought she was awesome in Ragnarok. I thought she was great here. And you know, Gore is a fantastic character. Like, this movie is funny as hell, but I'm glad they kept the villain. The villain was very compelling, and he was not delivering one-liners. Like, he was a very good, solid villain. I think his powers were awesome. His look was awesome. Of course, it's Christian Bale, who was the Batman in the Nolan trilogy. So I thought he knocked that role out of the park. You know, so after he comes to Asgard, he takes all the children from Asgard, basically to lure Thor into the Shadow Realm, which my brother was sitting next to me. If you guys know me, I play Yu-Gi-Oh with my friends, and sometimes, a lot of times actually, I lose. So, you know, in Yu-Gi-Oh they have the Shadow Realm, so my brother was joking that, hey, there's your home. So I thought that part was pretty funny.
Pegasus may have helped you escape the Shadow Realm once before, but it won't happen again. Never again!
But the whole design of the Shadow Realm I thought was pretty freaking awesome. And just them going to, I forgot the name of the place, but basically where all the gods locate to convene and have meetings. As we know, it's not important meetings because Zeus is trying to plan his next orgy, which I'm like, okay, makes sense for Zeus, I guess. But they did him dirty. I think they did Zeus pretty dirty, not just from the Marvel comic books, but I think in general, in terms of Greek mythology. Now, I get it. This film is a comedy, so based on the comedy aspect that this film is going for, Zeus hit the mark. But I thought they could have made him a little bit more serious, a little bit more looking like Zeus, but that was fine. I thought the whole thing was hilarious when, like, he's trying to negotiate with him and he flicks and he makes him butt ass naked. He's like, Thor was like, you flick too hard, and the ladies behind Zeus freaking fainted. I love that whole thing of them kind of battle it out, and they basically snatched Zeus's lightning bolt, you know, to help them fight Gore the God Butcher. So I thought all that was cool. I thought the settings was cool. You saw a couple of Celestials in the back, which I thought was awesome. And just the whole thing, the whole dynamic with Jane and Thor, I thought was pretty good. Thor is basically comedic throughout this whole, 99% of this whole film, but there were some moments where he had a little depth to him like he did in the previous film. So I thought that was nice of them having that little heart-to-heart moment before they go to the final battle. And I love how he basically, like when he found the kids, and in order to fight Gore at the final boss, he basically had to like grant him his powers for like a limited time through the object they had, and some of them had like little cute teddy bears and stuff like that. So I thought that was pretty funny, just having the kids out there fighting alongside Thor. Obviously, Heimdall's son, Heimdall, yeah, that's the name. Heimdall's son, the guy who was basically the leader of the Bifrost. Like, he is a keeper of the Bifrost, the gates in Asgard. Of course, he died because, you know, when Thanos blew up his ship and one of his people stabbed him. He has a son, and his son has the same powers as he does. Obviously, his son doesn't know how to use his powers yet. But I thought that whole sequence towards the end when they're fighting, you know, was absolutely awesome. The visuals and the color palette and the editing, all from a film perspective, the story, everything was great. I just wish it had a little more seriousness to it. But once you buy into it's a comedy in the MCU with Thor, and you get over that whole like serious tone Marvel kind of has throughout their arcing thing, this movie was pretty entertaining. I was very entertained. Like, this is a very rewatchable movie. I could watch this movie probably 10 times over and not get bored with it. So I thought it was very awesome. And of course, you know, Gore ends up reaching eternity after he steals Thor's new hammer, and he basically teaches Gore, like, you could either hold on to your hatred or you could learn to love. And of course, eternity, grants wishes to the first person who reached there, and of course Gore was the first person to reach there. So basically, through Thor's kindness, thinking that he's going to have his last moments, he might as well spend it with Jane. Gore sees the error of his ways, and instead of wishing for all the gods to die, he wishes for his daughter back, which we love, which we know now at the end of the movie that the reason why it's called Love and Thunder is because that's their nickname. Thor is the god of thunder, and I don't know what her nickname is, but apparently she is love, which she is awesome. That whole end part with them, like him making pancakes and she shoots a laser at her eyes, which I guess she gets new powers because Eternity brought her back. So cool. I don't know the extent of her new abilities because based on what we saw at the beginning, they look pretty human, normal, like average sentient beings. So she has superpowers now, which I thought is a great dynamic, and it's very heartfelt to know that Thor is basically loving the child of the enemy that basically led to Jane's death. I mean, she had cancer; she was gonna die anyways, but it probably could have been prevented if she didn't have to wield the hammer all that time. So I thought that was pretty cool. Also the dynamic between the hammers, like him treating Mjolnir like an ex-girlfriend and his new hammer is coming in the frame. That part was great. That whole sequence I thought was pretty hilarious. Like this whole film was a blast. The end credit scenes, of course, setting up things for later. Like Zeus is not dead. Even though he got shot in the chest with his own lightning bolt, he is not dead, and he's telling Hercules to basically go after Thor, which again, if you guys read the comic books, I'm not really too deep into the comic books, but I did my research. Hercules is a very big part in the Marvel comic books. He's been part of the Avengers. Obviously, he's fought Thor many times, which it seems like him fighting Thor is where they're heading to. But he's usually on the side of the Avengers. So I'm very curious to see how they're going to do Hercules. Obviously, they take liberties when they can in the MCU, but if they stick relatively to what the comic book does, he's probably going to end up being on the side of good and maybe being part of the new Avengers that they're trying to build up. So I thought that was pretty cool. All in all, I thought this was a pretty good Thor movie. I wouldn't say it's my favorite one. I'd still say Thor Ragnarok is the best Thor movie in its entirety, but this is definitely the second best because Thor: The Dark World, many people don't like it. I actually enjoyed Thor: The Dark World, but it's not the best Thor movie. And the original Thor, I find it's not rewatchable. Like based on how the other Marvel movies look and feel, that one's way too slow. The action's not that great. So this is definitely up there with Thor, and I think it's definitely one of the, I'm not gonna say best Marvel movies, but one of the funniest Marvel movies. Now Marvel is generally pretty funny with their jokes, but this was a pure comedy. This was hilarious. Like I was laughing my ass off through most of this film. So, all in all, I'll probably give it like a strong 7 out of 10. Definitely hit all the marks. It build more stuff to the story for the future, and of course Thor was freaking awesome. Everybody in that film was awesome. I thought the directing for the most part was pretty good. Taika Waititi, rumored to make a Star Wars film. I hope he doesn't make it as, obviously he probably won't make it as comedic as he did with the Marvel movie, but he's an awesome director. So I enjoyed this movie. Now tell me what you guys thought about the movie. Did you love the comedy? Did you hate it? Do you think this is the best Thor movie ever? Would you rank it in your rankings for the Marvel movies? Tell me in the comments below how you guys felt about Thor: Love and Thunder. But that is it, guys. This is Hamtainment. Of course, we'll be getting more of me on this new branding name of the platform. Again, follow my girl Beanie on all her social media and internet platforms. She is awesome. She made this awesome new logo, and I'm gonna freaking run with it. But yeah, I am Hamid, and I hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you guys next time.